Hey there, you're listening to College Conversations, a podcast where two college guys talk about anything that comes to their minds. I'm Jake.
And I'm Chase. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome back.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 6 of the podcast.
Episode 6. Welcome back to another rug talk.
Rug talking.
Going to be talking about, talking on the rug.
On the rug.
Dorm room.
5x7 rug, if you can believe it. There's a whole 5x7 rug.
You can too. Enjoy yourself a rug talk. Just get yourself a rug and talk.
Technically, you're not on the rug, but I am on the rug.
My feet are on the rug.
Your feet are on the rug?
Yes.
That's all that matters.
Right. Yeah, because originally I was going to have my stuff in the middle too until we realized that was kind of pointless.
Have your what in the middle?
Everything, all my equipment. It's going to be like a tabletop discussion.
Yeah, you're talking about the
I guess we
podcast
could
setup.
still do if we wanted to,
But, I mean, there's
make
no
it
point.
feel better.
I mean, we could, I guess, but there's not much point in upending your entire setup as you have it right now just to pull it like a couple feet towards me. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Maybe as it changes or next semester or something, we'll make it a real rug talk.
A real rug talk.
Set up a whole table and do real podcast stuff.
For anyone who doesn't know how we set up the podcast right now, I pull out a little side table thing.
A little nightstand
thing from my desk into the middle of the rug. And then I place my computer stand on top of that, but it's flipped backwards so that it sticks out instead of inwards. And so we need something to weigh it down so it doesn't fall over. Because the reason I have the computer stand is my mic is sitting on top of it so that it's sitting at a grid level for me to talk at. Because I don't have an arm that will hold it. I have an arm, but it sucks. It's a really bad arm. It just like you hold it up and it just like sinks down.
You might as well not have an arm.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, and your mic is also kind of heavy.
It is a heavy mic. So, but we have my
it's
mic.
It's also unfortunate because your mic has a really weird screw. It's like a very large bolt screw that nothing else goes to. So my other mic stand doesn't work with it.
It's like a heavy duty stand or screw because it's a heavy mic or whatever. But it's set up on my computer stand, which is facing outwards towards me so I can have it next to my mouth. But to weigh it down, we put Chase's alto saxophone, the entire thing, on top of the computer stand to make sure it doesn't fall over.
Don't worry. Just pile in a Barry and an alto and whole saxophone family on top of one another.
We could have put my trombone on there, but that's a little overkill. Saxophones are...
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Well, saxophones are heavier than you think. Like, I didn't think saxophones were as heavy as they are, but...
They're pretty heavy. I mean, they're one of the heaviest woodwind instruments.
Yeah, it's just so much metal, and it's just so, like, a dense
Especially
metal.
that one is made with... it's very dense makeup.
Yeah. It's about as heavy as a trombone, I would say.
Probably.
Maybe even heavier. My trombone's probably heavier.
Not heavy. Like, I mean, yeah, your trombone heavier.
My bass trombone is heavier.
I don't know that it would be heavier than a trombone, though. I'm not sure.
Okay, I've
never tested it.
I've tested it before. I've held yours and mine at the same time, and I don't remember. They were close, but I don't remember which one was actually heavier. So, and then Chase has his whole setup at his desk, and he has a nice...
I just flip myself around.
He has a nice arm for his mic that holds it, so he can kind of swivel anywhere he wants. So all of his stuff stays at his desk, and I just bring all of my crap over to his side of the room. Make a little island in the rug.
Yeah.
It's a little jank. It's a little sketchy.
It's a little janky, but that's why it's a podcast.
Yeah.
So you can't see it.
Yeah.
I debated like taking a picture and putting it on the YouTube version. Just being like, if you happen to be on YouTube, this is what it looks like.
Maybe that selfie that I took or something.
Yeah, one of the selfies we took with some of the other people. Did we take a selfie with Mike and Mondo?
We didn't. You were kicking yourself because you were like trying to think like every time we have a guest on, you want to take a picture with them.
Yeah.
But all the guests that we've had on so far, we've not taken
pictures with them. The two guests,
them.
or I guess 3, but 2 groups of guests that we've had on so far, I've forgotten to do it.
It's whatever.
Oh, well.
Did you know that video of us doing the Funky Penguin is out there somewhere? People have seen it.
That's
comforting, right?
Terrifying and also I really don't care at the same time. Like,
I didn't think that it actually got
what do you mean
filmed.
out there?
Well,
Like
just
somewhere on a
Marissa
mom
filmed it.
Facebook chat or something?
Someone at the show car competition told me they saw
Oh,
me and you doing it.
I'm sure it got posted to some group chat.
Yep.
A bunch of freshmen just watching two alumni weirdos in their dorm room doing the Funky Penguin, or the best rendition that they can think of.
I struggled with it. I haven't seen this video, but I'm sure you can see me struggling. I'm not a good dancer, and so trying to get my
I had
feet,
no idea what I was doing.
I don't know what I was doing either, but like my feet
were just
and arms were just
doing
like
the Funky Penguin,
whatever. Yeah, we were
whatever that means.
getting down to the Funky Penguin in our room, I guess.
Speaking of penguin, well, kind of more of birds in general. Our topic today is conspiracy theories.
Birds aren't real. Confirmed.
Birds aren't real. That was the first one I was going to bring up.
Really?
Yeah,
Because it's true.
Just
That's
because
why.
it's funny and it's one of my favorites, just because of how ridiculous and fun it is. Birds aren't real.
They're government spies to spy on
They're
us.
government spies.
They're
And
cameras.
I don't know if it's stated specifically in the actual movement itself, but a popular belief is that pigeons and seagulls are the
drones.
two most popular ones to be used. I think pigeons number 1 and seagulls number 2.
Yeah, because pigeons are abundant in big cities like New York.
Pigeons,
So
they have to be. They're drones. You think birds actually exist?
crazy.
I did do a little bit of research into this one. Do you know what the actual history behind this is?
There's a history to it.
I mean, yeah,
I thought it
there's
was
a
meme on the internet, and people just like kind of went with it.
I didn't realize it was a relatively new conspiracy theory. Like as of 2017.
Yeah, that checks out.
Because I thought it was like a thing that had been going on for a while, which I guess shows my naivety, but
naivete.
I was just like, oh, okay. So there's just a joke that's been going around for decades. Now, it's been 7 years.
There you go.
It actually started when this dude was looking out his window. There was a group of counter protesters at a women's march in Memphis on the day of Trump's inauguration. And he wanted to create a totally absurd sign to hold up to comment on the absurdity that he was watching. Because it was a bunch of like, I guess people just like interrupting an event to push their own agenda or something that had nothing to do with whatever they were doing.
And so he made a sign that said birds aren't real.
Yeah, that was his joke. He was going for something that completely didn't make any sense, but was really, really funny.
That is funny. I might have seen this, honestly, somewhere.
I just think that's really funny that it came from somebody trying to do the opposite of everyone else and just trying to be as dumb as possible. And then other people picked it up and ran with it. And there's actually a whole like organization behind it now. Like there's lore to birds aren't real.
There's lore.
Yeah, there's lore. There's a website that has like all sorts of supposed quote unquote leaked CIA documents talking about bird drone prototypes. And I think the lore goes something like it was first used to spread awareness of the genocide of some 12 billion birds or something, and that birds were once real, but have since gone extinct and have been replaced by government surveillance drones.
So all birds are extinct now?
All birds, yeah.
All birds are drones?
It's all birds aren't real. Pigeons and seagulls primarily, but
every bird?
Yeah, every bird is fake.
Okay.
Even the chickens or something. It's really funny, but yeah, there's a whole...
When I go get my little nuggets, am I eating robots instead of chickens?
No, that's all processed food. It's synthetic bird.
So it's just never was any kind of meat?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen those how it's made videos with the chicken nuggets, and it's just like the vat of chicken, right?
No.
No?
I
think
can
that was a
imagine.
video. It's like for a whole week, people were freaking out because, there was like a clip of how it's made, chicken nuggets going around, and it was like just this giant vat of meat, and people were like, "That's not chicken."
How do you expect it to be made?
I was like, "It's boneless chicken in a nugget." Like, what? Do you think people are actively just like taking a nugget of chicken breast and then frying that? It's like they have to cut out. They just buy like packs and packs of chicken breast from the store, and they have to slowly cut out nugget-sized chunks.
Nope. They just get all that chicken out. They stir it up in a little pot.
Make
Dump
chicken
it in there.
slurry.
Put it in the mold for the McNuggets, and because there's
Fry those suckers.
There's 4 types of McNuggets. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
There's only 4 types, or it might not be 4, but there's a certain amount of types and shapes, and they're only come in that shape.
Wait, what are they?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean by there's only 4 kinds?
There's only 4 kinds, meaning there's only 4 different shapes that McNuggets come in.
Oh, okay. So there's 4 different molds for
Yeah.
nuggets.
And they're only that shape.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, next time you get like a 10-piece, look at the different shapes that there are.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I just figured it was like, I didn't think it was like molded at all. I thought it was just kind of plopped into a nugget shape, and it was just kind of like, there.
No, it's 100% pumped into a mold and then fried that way.
Huh.
So, yep, they're always the same
Interesting.
shape.
You learn something every day.
Like birds aren't real.
Yeah, there's a whole website. I haven't actually gone to it. I'm going to do that real quick, actually.
We're actively going to look at the Birds Aren't Real website. Let's see what we got here.
Birdsaren'treal.com. Oh, that's cute. It's got a whole like it's like
graphics.
8-bit themed. Yeah, they've got merch.
There's merch. Look at this.
Yeah, there's like if it flies, it spies, and bird watching pepper t-shirt. Birds aren't real ornament. Oh, that's funny. It's a camera coming out of a nest of eggs.
There's hats.
There's
hoodies.
There's posters. There's water bottles, keychains. There's a frisbee.
There's a frisbee.
There's a frisbee. Air freshener.
Make love, not birds.
Okay, what the heck? Oh, the sticker pack is sold out.
There's mystery bundles. Chase, we need to order that.
Wait, does that mean bird watchers are secretly like rebel spies? Bird watchers are just like they're trying to spy the birds and
they're spying the back.
Yeah, it's like anti-government rebels.
Or they're just oblivious and they think birds are real.
They're the only people that still believe that birds are real.
What idiots.
I want to find there was
What else do we got? We found the merch page. That's like the first
something
thing
about
that popped up. About the movement. Let's learn about this.
Yeah, there's like videos of this CIA agent confesses to bird drone surveillance and a banned television advertisement from the movement of '87.
They're really laying out the facts here.
Like I'm telling you, there is lore behind this. And I find it absolutely hilarious, and I'm here for it, and I love it.
You should order that mystery bundle.
The mystery bundle?
Yeah.
I should order the mystery bundle.
See what you get. Maybe you'll get a decommissioned
Nah, I'd buy
bird.
the stickers, honestly, if they weren't sold out. That'd be so funny.
Someone's making too much money off of
They're
this.
actually like they're good-looking stickers too. It's not like it's just cheap merch. It's like the poster is actually kind of cool. If it flies, it spies. And it's got like the breakdown of, oh yeah, because the bird charges on the telephone poles. That's why they all sit on there. That's their like docking station.
Why else would they need those? Why else would they sit on those? What else is the point of telephone poles?
Yeah, I don't know. Why would you need to sit on something?
Everyone has their
fly.
just own phones. We don't use landlines anymore. So obviously they converted them to...
Internet is in underground cables.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, guys.
Trust us. Birds are not real. Confirmed. Conspiracy confirmed. Myth busted.
Gets the college conversation stamp of approval.
We're just doing like college myth busting, but it's so wrong.
That gets a green stamp from College Conversations.
Oh yeah,
Birds are real. Stamped it.
birds are real. Bang. This one was kind of a cool one. An idea known as subliminal advertising or subliminal marketing. The idea that advertising companies use psychological or psychoanalytical techniques in their ads or commercials to manipulate you into wanting to buy their products.
Like what?
Like, um, there was a movement in the 1900s. I don't saying the 1900s feels really weird, but the late 1900s. I don't. I'm saying that because I don't remember what decade it was. I think it was like 70s or 80s, maybe 90s. One of those later years. Dude named James Vickery um, put he did a it actually turned out to be fake later for him to promote sales and get attention and whatnot. But he did a fake experiment where he wrote the words "eat popcorn and drink Coke" on the film strips, and they only flashed for like a 30th of a second or so. And the idea was that it would be so fast that you wouldn't notice it, but your brain would register it and it would like trick your brain into eating more popcorn or drinking more Coke. And apparently, according to his study, um, there was a 57% increase in popcorn sales and an 18% increase in Coca Cola sales. Now, this was later proved to be, he came out and said it was fake and he just did it for the attention. Um, but it freaked a lot of people out. There's also a book, I think, written about it. Um, and it freaked a lot of people out. And there was like a bunch of lawsuits against, advertising companies and whatnot. Because they were like, this is a impedance on, I don't even remember what you would call that. Like freedom of thinking or something.
Freedom of thinking.
Or like, because it encroached on their independence. Like, if you're manipulating people into buying stuff, it's like encroaching on human rights and whatnot.
I don't know. All they
Um,
did was show you a picture, and you chose to do the thing. So
right, and there was also a scandal when George Bush was running for president. There were a group of people that tried to accuse him and his party of using subliminal messaging they apparently flashed the word rats when the commentator was talking about the opponent. Apparently, it was supposed to make people think less of him or something. I don't know. It's like, but was the idea is really interesting. Now, it has since been proven that it doesn't work as far as marketing goes. Subliminal marketing doesn't really work. You can influence the way people think, but specifically like subliminal messaging, like the flashing of words and whatnot, doesn't work with like making people want to buy things.
and so I took a psychology class a year or two ago, and we talked a little bit briefly about this and how like you said, it's disproven. Like it doesn't actually work that way. You can't influence someone to do something. Um, what actually happens is if someone was already wanting to do something like buy popcorn or buy Coke at the movies, then advertising can push them to actually do it. But it can't make someone do something they weren't already thinking about doing. So it
I
doesn't,
guess that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it reminds you, like, oh, yeah, I did want Coke and popcorn. It didn't convince people, like, oh, now I need Coke and popcorn versus before you completely didn't. It doesn't work
Right.
like that.
Just makes you wonder like with all this stuff about advancing technologies and Elon Musk with microchips and whatnot. It's like, what kind of subconscious is that even like a realm of possibility that people start imprinting on your subconscious thoughts, like in your dreams or something? Can you imagine if you're just dreaming and like a friggin' ad for like Toyota or something pops up in the middle of your dream? They start taking like advertising space in people's subconscious.
They could incept their own advertisements into your brain.
Right. And when you wake up, you can't tell if it was real or not. You're like, did I just watch an ad in my sleep?
But then you're like, man, I must need a Toyota now or whatever, you know?
I don't, if that's
Like,
how that
I've been
works.
thinking a lot about Toyotas recently. I should look into them, you know?
Yeah, man, I've been dreaming about Toyotas. Maybe this is a sign.
I bet it would work on most people if that actually happened.
I guess. There was also a thing done kind of in the realm of psychological, influence when in marketing. A wine shop in Britain did an experiment where one day they played French music. They saw a correlation to the type of music they were playing and the type of wine people bought. When they were playing French music, people were more inclined to buy French wine. When they played German music the next day, people were more inclined to buy German wine. But only one person who they interviewed actually acknowledged that the music made a difference in their choice.
Yeah. People aren't willing to admit it or just were completely unaware of it.
Well, that's the thing is like, how many things do we think about where, music or something that we're completely not aware of actually influences us? It's kind of weird to think about
Yeah, all the time.
because there's so much stuff going on around us.
Yeah. I mean, that's why companies pay for advertisements in so many places because it does eventually get to you. Like it floats around in there somewhere. You would think like, especially like I drove I was in the car for a long time recently and there's just tons of billboards everywhere and you're like, this is in the middle of nowhere. Like, why would someone pay to have their stuff on here where I'm just gonna forget about it immediately afterwards? I'm like, well, you know, it must work because otherwise they wouldn't pay for it, you know?
That's how I feel about the phone numbers at the end of at the end of old commercials. It's like it's at the very end, and they like say the number so fast that I'm like, you really would have had to just grab the phone and slam the number in order to like contact them and get those deals and whatnot, which I suppose was the point. And apparently it had to have worked because they do it all the time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, they don't do things that don't work. Like that's the reason they do those sorts of things, and you see it a lot is because it works
right.
somehow.
It's just interesting to see what works.
Yeah, and for those commercials, they're marketed towards a different audience who's used to that. Most of those commercials are marketed towards the old people who are watching TV at like 2 p.m.
People with the landline phones next to them.
They've got the phone right next to them. They can write it down on their pen and paper and, have it for later or whatever.
Or just punch it in right next to them.
Yeah.
Calling, I want that 2-for-1 refrigerator deal.
Yep. That's exactly who they're advertising to. So
people who need new refrigerators.
That and like if you ever notice like cable TV during the afternoon is like heavily marketed towards basically senior citizens. There's a lot of medication and like you'll see like the clicker things that they wear around their neck when they fall and
the life alerts,
and that kind of stuff. It's because that's when that market is available.
Their afternoon tea, they're watching TV.
Yeah, because it can't be late at night because they're all asleep.
They go to sleep at like 8.
Yep. What do you got on there?
Let's see, I got a couple more. These other ones I didn't bother to actually research as much. I was just kind of expecting to talk about them.
One of them better be flat Earth.
One of them is
Do you
flat
have
Earth.
flat Earth on there?
The next one I have down is Simpsons.
What about the Simpsons? Is it the predictions?
Yeah.
The predictions
is
are
it
crazy.
like you think they're actually predicting stuff, or are they just are they time traveling? Are they accurately predicting stuff, or is it like the writers have traveled, they're from the future?
They have an agent in the future that's feeding them information.
Right.
100%. They have someone who's gone forward in time and is like, hey, write this down, send it back in time,
Right. Just
you know?
send it back. We got to make an episode.
Yeah, make an episode.
But it's got to be like 8 years earlier.
Yep. Like Trump winning the election.
Right.
Or
the 9/11 joke
yeah,
from the episode with the magazine.
there's tons of them.
Right.
I heard about a couple of them, but then one time I saw a compilation of some of them. I was like, dang, this is serious. Like, it's not just a few times. Like, they've guessed
It's
a
kinda
lot
freaky.
of things.
Right.
They got to have an informant in the future.
I mean, they have to, right? It's
Yeah.
like just with the accuracy of some of these and the details they have in there.
We got to find this person because they're probably here right now.
Yeah.
Backwards.
They're either feeding from the future, or they have someone from the future just writing a bunch of events down, and they just over time use them as scripts.
Yep.
Just, okay, here's a joke about this one. We're going to slide it in there, see if they notice this one. It's like 5 years later. Oh my gosh, they predicted it. The Simpsons strike again.
Yep. How many seasons of The Simpsons are there? It's like a crazy amount.
Like 23,
yeah,
I think.
something like that. So they've got so much material to pull from and so much runtime to sneak things in. They just got lucky, I guess, with a lot of it. Chase is looking up how many seasons there are.
34. Oh my
34
gosh.
seasons.
There's so many.
That's a lot of Simpsons.
Wow.
We weren't even close. We said 24.
Yeah, I said 24, and it was like a whole 10 more than that. But yeah, I saw somewhere they make like, they have 34 seasons, and it's like 1,200 hours per season. And if they make a joke, on average every 1.5 minutes, then it's like, and you take how many jokes they've made versus how many predictions they've gotten right. I saw somewhere that it's like a 1% chance that it lands.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you think about it, it's really just a game of chance, but it is kind of funny to think about, oh, are they really time traveling? Could it be real? And it's even funnier that if it is true, it's The Simpsons. Like, it's a TV show, it's a cartoon TV show that is utilizing time travel.
They just have an informant that they know the one person who's figured it out. And they're like, we're gonna make so much money off this or whatever.
Right.
Instead of insider trading, they're just gonna get some internet clout for predicting things.
It's like
5
internet
years ago.
popularity, internet space.
Who knows?
instead of stocks.
Maybe in the future it'll blow up to a crazy amount, and that's what they're going for.
Right.
Better than any insider trading could have done. We'll see. Maybe we need to invest in Simpsons stocks so that we can make some money off of this.
Invest in the Simpsons so that next time they make a like world altering prediction and people go crazy over it, we get a little bit of a boost and we can sell it then. And
Yep.
when it dies down, we buy more stocks. They make another prediction, bam, we sell it.
It's a foolproof business model.
Foolproof. We got to start it.
All right, Simpsons has the college conversation stamp of approval.
Green stamp. Boom.
We're gonna make some moolah off of this, some cheddar.
Yeah. Not only do we have a stamp of approval, we have a plan in mind to make money. This one has been debunked a bunch of times, but I still think it's interesting enough to talk about.
I don't care what the globe heads have to say about flat Earth, okay? They think it's debunked so many times. I have proof right now in my backyard. I ran an experiment, and it's true.
Well,
My backyard is flat. So
that's not what I was going for. But yeah, we'll go for flat Earth. It's an interesting theory, but I just like
if you like flew around the Earth, you would be upside down at the other end of it. Like,
well, yeah, and that's like You mean nobody's found the edge yet? Like as many years as we've had like plane travel and even boat travel, you're telling me that nobody has found the edge.
No, people have found the edge. The government keeps us away from the edge.
Oh, so they've found the edge, but they never come back.
Yeah. People are at the edge. There's an ice wall around the entire edge because Antarctica is the edge,
Oh my gosh.
and there's an ice wall and the government keeps people from going to the other side. So we still don't know what's on the other side.
I actually haven't heard a whole lot of the theories behind flat Earth.
Dude.
The Antarctica theory is new.
Well, like if you look at flat Earth maps, they split it at Antarctica. So Antarctica goes all the way around the outside
Oh,
because they basically take the bottom of the Earth and unfold it up. So like the North Pole is in the center, and the South Pole is the entire edge of the disk.
interesting.
And so there's an ice wall around the entire rim of the Earth, and the government keeps us from going past it. There's people stationed there with guns and stuff, and they shoot anyone down. So
Why? What are they protecting?
what's on the other side? We don't know. We
What's
still
on
don't
the
know.
other side of the Earth?
My guess, dinosaurs on the other side.
That's where they're keeping the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's where all the
Maybe
dinosaurs
Area
are.
51 is a portal to the other side. Instead of going to the edge, you can go through Area 51, and that's why they keep it secret.
No, Area 51 is obviously separate and fake. Okay, everyone knows that.
Area 51 is fake?
It's not real.
What do you mean it's not real?
I'm just trying to combine a bunch of them right now to see how crazy it can get.
Nah, Area 51 is very much real. That's where they keep the aliens. It's where they have all of those, those so-called weather balloons that people like to call them.
It's a government cover up.
Exactly.
It's where all the birds are made in Area 51.
It's where they study the birds to make drones of. It's in Area 51.
It's a manufacturing plant for drones.
Oh yeah, it's the
It's where they're all
bird
made.
drone manufacturing plant. I like it.
What else could it be? All right.
I don't know.
Nothing else is the answer.
There's no other possible options.
No, nothing else. It's where the birds are made. It's where it has to be. Okay.
Flat. I'd be interested to see, like, I haven't actually looked into it a whole lot, but I'd be interested to see like what the geographical or like how they think everything works.
I've seen a bunch of theories. One of them is that to explain gravity, right?
Yeah, that was one of the ones I was curious
The
about.
disk is constantly moving upwards at 9.81 meters per second squared. So we feel the downwards pull of 9.81 meters per second squared.
So it's like we're orbiting around the Earth, but we're facing the direction of orbit.
No, the disk isn't spinning at all. It's just moving upwards.
Right. So like, but the disk would be like horizontal, and it would be moving in the direction of the orbit.
No, it doesn't orbit anything. Everything orbits around the Earth, obviously.
Oh.
The Earth is the center of the universe, and then
And the universe is moving?
no, we're moving through it.
But if we're the center of the universe.
No. There's no questions here. Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Questions lead to I don't know. I don't know what questions lead to.
Questions lead to loopholes, and we can't allow any
No,
of that.
we can't have any of those. And so that's gravity. Gravity is
Gotcha.
the disk is moving
Earth
upwards.
disk is moving through. I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
So it's basically we're moving upwards, and it's pushing everything down at the constant rate of gravity, gravitational constant, which if you take our class is 10 meters per second instead of 9.81, but that's a different story.
And I wonder, how thick is the Earth? Because I mean, we drill down pretty far deep, and the ocean itself is really, really deep, like 24,000 feet at some point.
I don't know about that one. I haven't heard much about how thick it is. But another one that I think is interesting is the sun. How does the sun work? So
The sun is a globe, but the Earth is flat.
Yes, it is. The sun and the moon. So the sun and the moon don't actually go around the disk. They don't go on the top side and the bottom side. What they do is they rotate perpendicular to the disk on top of it in a perfect circle around it. So if It's hard to explain this in words. I'm not great at explaining it. I'm doing it with my hands, but you can't see that. But if you imagine the Earth as like a plate or something, it's as if you were to like draw circles on the plate, right?
Right.
But that's the motion of the sun and the moon. They're opposite from each other, opposite sides of the circle, moving around together. But they're
The
just
moon like
elevated.
shines darkness.
I don't know about that, but that's the theory: is the sun and the moon just kind of move around, orbit around, on top of the disk.
It's so like it's a fascinating theory. Like it's stupid when you hear it, but it's so fun and fascinating to think about. See, what other questions can we ask without, you know, what else is there about flat Earth?
Well, every
Uh,
picture from space stations is obviously photoshopped and not real. Any picture that's high enough to show the curvature of the Earth is warped, obviously, because it would be
that or
flat.
it's like directly above it, where all it would see is the circle.
But yeah, I'm talking about like if you go high up enough in the skyline,
Oh yeah,
you can
yeah,
see
yeah,
the
yeah.
curvature of the Earth.
Oh yeah. No, those are all fisheye lenses. That's why those are circles. Is because the curvature of the fisheye lens. It's like a
Or the
instead of a
government,
point
yeah,
0.5, it's like a 0.15. It's super super curved. It's not actually curved. It's just it looks
it just
curved.
looks curved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fisheye lens. I do know that one.
Or the government just takes it and photoshops it.
Yeah, they have every camera ever has to have a government chip in it, and there's just one guy that is clicking a curve button on every single picture anyone ever takes.
Yep.
It's like flat, yep, curve. Oh no, that one has to we got to change that one.
It's the anti-curve anator. I don't know. The
Anti-curvinator.
anti-curvinator. He takes all the curves out of everything.
Let's doofenshmirtz this crap. Just the anti-curvinator. Anti-curve everything in the tri-state area. Watch out, Perry.
I never watched Phineas and Ferb.
You what?
I never watched Phineas and Ferb.
But you've seen stuff from Phineas and Ferb,
Well,
right?
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I just never watched it.
I never watched the whole thing, but I've seen my fair share of episodes.
Never seen it. Here's another one I haven't seen. Never seen SpongeBob before.
I've watched maybe one full episode, and those were all at the skating rink because they would always play
just
SpongeBob
on
episodes at the skating rink. But we just didn't watch SpongeBob. We didn't watch a whole lot of TV shows in general. Like we stopped paying for cable, so
Getting too many ads for life alerts and clickers and all
yeah.
that stuff.
I mean, people are trying to take over our mind. Do you think we're gonna give them that real estate? No. No, they're already spying on us with their birds, watching what we like. It's how they know what we like. The birds are watching us. They're watching what we watch.
That's why you always close the windows so the birds can't see in.
Just close the windows.
Yeah.
Another reason you can't turn on the TV is because then you see stuff like people talking about how the moon landing was real. Obviously, that one was faked.
There's
I
no
mean,
stars. It was obviously on a soundstage. You
right?
can't see the stars.
And like,
Where are
if
the
there's no
stars?
wind, how are there footprints? Or wait, don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Yeah.
You just anti-conspirize
No, I
that a
didn't.
little bit.
Shut up. No. It's like, how could we possibly go to the moon? Things burn up in the atmosphere all the time.
It's too far away.
Yeah, it's too far away. We don't have that much fuel. You think it's not that far, but it's actually really, really far away. So it's like, there's no way we could chuck a hunk of metal through space and actually make it as fast as the moon is moving around.
Or
Heck
it's like,
no.
or the moon is too small to actually land on. It's not as big as we think it is.
Right. I mean, it's tiny in the sky, and it can't be much bigger than that.
It's like a little asteroid, you know.
It's just a little asteroid. It's zipping around us. I'm trying to think, how would you even fake something like that?
You just build a set, you get wires.
I guess. It's like you have wires hooked up to the suits, make him like pull them up and
Yeah.
down to
Make
simulate low
them
gravity.
do the jumpy thing, the boingy little jumps.
Or like they green screen one of those planes that dive bomb to simulate low gravity. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I have seen those.
I want to go
Those
on one of
sound
those
awesome.
so bad.
I've seen videos of that. It's
You have
like,
to like lay down on the way up because it's pulling like 5 Gs.
yeah,
Then on the way down, it's the opposite where you just kind of like
you float around.
right. There was a race between Usain Bolt and some astronaut on one of those planes in
Really?
low gravity.
In low gravity.
It was like a tie. I think it'd be fun to go on one of those.
Those would be really fun. I have a feeling I would like puke everywhere though. So I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't go on those
It's
things.
like permanent roller coaster stomach drops.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that would feel. Centrifuges are so much fun. Have you ever been
No,
on one?
because I value my own brain's well being. I don't want to like shake it up like a blender.
Well, there's like two kinds that I've been on. There's one where it's like open air and it's kind of just like a spinning disc that kind of just tilts.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to just like, well, in both of them, you're supposed to just stand up against the wall with your back flat to the wall. And you can like try to peel your hand up and feel it get slapped down.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you seen the video of the guy who stands perfectly perpendicular on those things? Have you
yeah.
seen that video?
Have you seen the one where the dude it's like uh the ride worker and he does a backflip on it?
Yeah.
Like he's done it so many times he just
Yeah.
knows what
He
direction he has to
runs
backflip
around
in.
and like does a backflip and then goes back to where he was.
Yeah, can
and,
you
like,
imagine like having to just trying that for the first time? You're like, what direction do I flip in to make this work? It's like you can't hardly walk.
Yeah. You
Like
gotta
you
just
can
work
hardly
up to it.
stand on one of those, much less walk on them and then flip.
Yeah. You just work up to it, I guess.
And then there's like the really big versions. Like I don't know if you ever watched. I think it was like a Veritasium video, where they were messing around with artificial gravity, and like if we were to make like one of those Halo rings, I forget what the official name for those are.
The Halo rings. That's what they're called.
But I think there's an actual name for them. Um,
Like from Halo the game
Yeah,
series.
like that ring from Halo. There's a scientific name
For that kind of structure.
for that kind of a structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Um, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, there in the game Halo, there is a giant spaceship ring kind of a thing, and it's like a couple miles wide
I think it's bigger than that.
or a couple miles thick,
I
but
think
it's this giant
yeah.
ring that spins, and the ring spinning is what creates this gravity, this artificial gravity.
Yeah.
And I saw a video where they were kind of testing that in a centrifuge. It was like after a while, because it's like if we ever did go into space, you'd want artificial gravity to, maintain normalcy. But they were testing this in a room and they were like, can you get used to artificial gravity and like does it work? And the answer is kind of. Because the other problem is you're trying to stimulate artificial gravity while you already have regular gravity.
Yeah. It's
So
not gonna
it's a
work
little
very well.
difficult to do that. So I wonder one day if they're gonna have like a centrifuge on the ISS, and just like they're gonna be running in place on a horizontal hamster wheel or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of movies with that concept in there. A bunch of like realistic space movies, like The Martian. Have you seen The Martian?
Mm-mm.
Well, in that they go to Mars, and in their spaceship, their round trip, they have a big part of it that is like that, where it spins. So they can go from regular spaceship where they're floating around, and they climb down a ladder into the gravity part, and then it's just normal. And I feel like and this might be my lack of experience, but I feel like if you just if you match the speed so that it matches gravity and keep it constant, I feel like there would be no difference. Like you wouldn't be able to tell
Yeah, in
once you're in
space.
it in space because there's nothing else acting on you.
Right.
So it's just a simple physics problem, I think.
And I wonder how big of a ring do you have to have before it pulls you just directly down?
I don't think that big, really,
I
comparatively.
guess, yeah, in space there wouldn't be anything else, so it's just a centrifugal force forcing you to the outside. It would just feel like,
It would feel like gravity if it was
well, because
constant.
my other question was if you're being flung in a circle, you're getting flung to the outside, I guess, but there's no air. Because like I'm imagining as much as you're getting tossed down, you might also get tossed to the side, but there's no air to actually push you. There's no air
Now,
resistance, so
in space, it gets rid of all those problems because you're just by yourself, and so
I don't know.
you're overthinking this.
Anyways,
It's
we
simple.
got so far off topic, but I mean, I think that's really cool. That's kind of the stuff that I like to
You
look
should watch
into
The
and
Martian.
research.
You should watch The Martian because they have a ship like that.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that one actually.
It's a really good movie. You should watch it.
It's probably not anywhere where I can watch it though. It's probably on Netflix.
I don't know. I don't know where it actually is. It's on airplanes. I watch it
It's
on
on
airplanes
Peacock.
sometimes. Who
Oh,
knows
it's
where
on
it is?
airplanes.
It's a good airplane watch.
Gotcha. Let's see. We did Simpsons, moon landing, flat Earth. Ooh, here's one. Pyramids. How were the pyramids made?
Aliens, obviously. There's no way humans can make pyramids that big. It's too heavy. I can't pick up a rock that big.
Yeah, and lug it miles and miles across? Heck no.
Aliens.
Has to have been aliens. Or is it aliens or is it ancient civilization technology?
No, it's aliens.
See, I think it's ancient civilization technology. They had something that we don't, and they like used it or something went wrong, and so now it's buried and we were returned to a primitive state.
Where's all of that future technology?
We don't know.
It's all buried.
It was destroyed or something. We don't know what happened to it.
But the pyramids
But
are
I mean,
still
think
there.
about it. How else could they have done it?
Aliens. That's how they could have done it.
Where are
Aliens
those
came and helped
aliens
them.
now, though?
They came and then they left. They dipped.
They came and said, "Here's a pyramid," boop, and then they left.
Yeah, they used their gravity rays to pick up the blocks and just put them in a pyramid shape, and then they just dipped.
Beam it up.
Yeah.
Okay, beam it down, Carl. All right, beam this one up.
Yep. And they did it all over the world because that's part of the theory is pyramids are a pretty universal human thing all across the world, not just in Egypt. People have made pyramids all over the place, and so the
See,
aliens.
and that's why I'm like, there had to have been an ancient civilization that
no.
had this technology.
The aliens did a world tour. They went around, found all the biggest civilizations, and they just put pyramids down there for them, and then they dipped.
But they wouldn't have had the wherewithal to know, like, okay, line these pyramids up in this specific way.
Yeah, they
I mean, it's
could.
like they all point to
They have-
magnetic
They have
north
future
or
technology.
true north.
It's the alien technology.
No, it's ancient technology.
Nope.
It's ancient civilization technology.
You're clearly incorrect. I'm clearly correct. End
You
of
are
story.
clearly delusional, is the only thing you are clear about.
And you're not delusional.
Maybe, but not about this. How do you think they were actually made? Like,
We know how they were actually made. They had a bunch of people with ropes, and they just like drug them.
well,
through
do you
the
think
desert.
they just drug them, or do you think they did like the log technique where you like roll something on logs?
They could do that too. I think they just drug them.
How many people do you think they would have had to have had
Oh, a bunch of people. They had
to? I mean,
in
for
Egypt,
one of those blocks, that has to weigh like, hundreds of tons.
Yeah, and the thing is, the only place where the specific rock that the pyramids in Egypt are made out of is like a bunch of miles away. So they had to drag it from a quarry by hand all the way across the desert.
Right.
Yeah, it was just slaves, is what it was. They just had slaves do it.
But I'm like, that seems like a ludicrous amount of people having to haul this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine that actually working.
Oh, it worked because they had enough people. They just threw people at it until they fixed it. You
Don't
know?
too heavy. Throw more people at it.
Yeah, more people, more slaves.
Don't have enough people. Go conquer somebody.
They had plenty of people. They just took their whole population and just like drug them out to the desert and made them pull giant rocks.
Well, and I'm like, who planned those? Who was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take a triangle. I'm gonna take 3 more triangles. I'm gonna make it 3D. Make a really big one.
It was probably because, at least the ones in Egypt, they're burial sites for pharaohs, and so
Some dude was like, I don't want a petty graveyard. I want a freaking monument that's gonna be like admired 1,000 years from now.
Yeah. And so the thinking is just like put a bunch of rocks on the grave so that it's a big
They're cavemen. What do we want? Rocks.
rocks.
Big square cut rocks. Make it
Yeah.
look like a triangle.
Yep. And the pyramid shape is just the easiest, pyramid shape is just the most structurally stable shape and easiest to make it out of. Like you just stack them. There's no like fancy architecture that needs to be done there.
And instead of a cube, which would take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 times as many blocks, they just make one incut of it.
Yeah.
Pyramid.
I don't think that math is right. I think you did that math wrong. But
No, because if you have 6 pyramids, then it makes one giant cube.
so you're factoring all of the pyramids into one giant cube?
Well, if you took like 5 of the same size pyramids and you put them together,
Yeah,
it
I
would
see
equal
what you're
one
saying.
giant cube.
I see what you're saying, but you're okay.
I'm saying instead of building that giant cube, they just took one of those sections and just made that. They were like, that's good enough. We don't need a cube.
Okay.
It would take too much.
Yeah.
Plus, that would be a lot harder to build because then you'd have to like,
Because the pyramid makes natural steps out of it, so you can build
right.
it from the
It
bottom up.
has a natural progression. The
Yeah.
cube, you'd have to like create a stairwell out of, and then slowly fill that
And fill that
stairwell in
stairwell
from the
back.
top or something.
Yeah, it'd be harder to do.
Or just have like, I don't even know how you do that. I'm telling you, ancient civilization cranes.
No, it was a grav gun from a UFO.
One of my personal favorites, Nessie, the Loch Ness monster.
Do people say that Nessie's not real? Come on. Obviously, Nessie's real.
Yeah, I go visit Nessie all the time. Nessie's my pet.
Where's Nessie located?
Some lake in Scotland. I don't remember which one.
Loch Ness is where it's from. Loch means lake
Oh yeah,
in Scottish.
That one.
In Gaelic, I think. So Loch Ness is where it's from.
I knew that.
Yeah, I'm sure you knew. That's why I asked you to test your knowledge on it.
Listen,
And then you failed.
it's been a long day. Wednesdays are rough.
It's not even over for you yet.
No, it's not. I
You have a
still have a
night
night
class.
class.
Lucky you.
And I think I have an exam in that night class, which is both good and bad at the same time. What do you think the Loch Ness Monster really is? Do you think it's like just a bunch of fish or like one really big one or
That
some random shipwreck or...
the original picture of it, where it's just like the head sticking out of the
Right.
water, that's just a log. I guarantee it. It's just like a log that looks.
But it's like a really smooth,
Well,
curved
yeah.
looking log.
But it's like it's not a high quality picture, and so it's just. I bet it's just a log sticking out.
It's just a log?
Yeah, it's just a log.
I always wanted it to be like some like mutilated or ancient fish that somebody was just like, what is that? Or like some like water snake that was sticking its head out of the water.
And its size was just like
Maybe it's a combination of
blown out
both.
of
Maybe it's like a
proportion.
water snake sitting on a log.
yeah,
It's like the log is the body and the snake is like the curvy head part.
maybe. Who knows what that original picture is? I bet it was just a tree, just a log.
You think people still try to scare their children with it? It's like, don't go into that lake. You'll get eaten by the Loch Ness monster.
Not the locals.
Or is it like a friendly monster? It's like, oh yeah, Nessie's in there. You don't want to mess with it, but
I don't know.
I think I like that one. That one's a fun one.
I think that one is like is more of like an American creation.
There was a movie about it, right? It was
There's-
kind of an older movie.
There's
but-
tons of movies. There's documentaries about it. It showed up in Scooby Doo, which is the hallmark of all monsters. So that means it must be real,
Oh, there's like a whole. There's like it's Water Horse is the one I'm thinking of. Anyways, I saw a movie on it, and so ever since then, Nessie is like one of my favorite conspiracy theories. Because it's Nessie, it's like a giant water horse. Or if you want to think about it, I think Lapras, the Pokemon, was based on the Loch Ness monster.
I don't know Pokemon at all. So
You don't know Lapras?
no. I don't know what any Pokemon looks like except for Pikachu and Charizard.
Disappointment. I'm
No,
disappointed.
I don't care enough. It's not important. It's dumb.
Wow. This guy really said Pokemon was dumb.
I said it right here. You heard it right here first. Pokemon is dumb.
Now that's just wrong. That's a conspiracy theory I can disprove.
It's dumb.
It is not.
It's just a little kid's game about like dice rolls, basically. It's what it is. Right? Is that basically what it is? Just like a big game of chance that's dressed up in a fancy way.
No, not at all.
Don't you like fight the Pokemon and like there's like a chance of something happening or it doesn't happen?
I mean, there is chance involved.
Isn't chance like a big part of it though?
No.
That's what I think it is.
The only chance is like accuracy. It's like whether or not a move lands, but it's like 95%, 90%. So it's rare that a move won't land. I mean, most of it is strategy and like using types against one another and certain moves with certain speeds and damage and whatnot and effects.
Yeah, sounds dumb.
Items and puzzles. And now there's Pow World.
I have seen clips of Pow World, and it's
Pow
pretty
World
funny.
is like Pokemon on steroids, which apparently now they're in trouble for something.
I'm sure. You know,
I forgot what I.
It's a new game. I'm sure they stole assets or whatever.
Yeah, there was some news article that was like, Power World in trouble. Power World is getting sued. I was like, oh, looky there.
Because it's getting notoriety right now, and it's like a blamed copy of Pokemon.
Well, it's not a copy of Pokemon. I mean, the idea of Pokemon has been redone. Of monsters, of like capturing monsters is like Bakugan, Digimon, even Yu-Gi-Oh is one of those kinds of things. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this adventure through the unknown, or rather, the known and covered up, and exploring and making fun of some of these conspiracy theories and
making fun of. I was serious the whole time.
Yeah, I know. You poor thing. Wake up to reality.
Wait, so you don't believe birds are what?
Yeah, my pet bird. No.
You think birds are real?
No, that one's true. Birds aren't real.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a website. It has to be true.
There's
None
merch.
of the others have a website.
There's merch. Like
actually, maybe Flat Earth does. I don't know. Yeah, there's merch. How can it not be real? People are selling stuff. If it wasn't real, they wouldn't make money.
That's illegal. They can't do that.
Let us know either down in the comments or in the feedback box down below. One, what conspiracy theory is your favorite? And two, if you actually believe in any and why, so we can look at them and potentially make a part 2. Maybe have one of you guys on explaining your theories and, your explanation as to why you're right and the government is wrong.
Government's always wrong.
Always. Well, thanks so much for listening again. We hope you enjoyed. Do be sure to follow us on Spotify or subscribe on YouTube. Keep up with us. So stay tuned and we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You want to do your clap sync?
I would love to do my clap sync. Get your mic pointed towards me. Ready, everyone? Quit tapping on it. You're going to ruin the... You're intentionally trying to sabotage my efforts later. You little jerk. I saw you tapping on it.
I'm having fun. I know. I wasn't trying to hide it.
Oh, you jerk.
Have fun with all those tippy tappies.
Tippy tappies. I'll just cut them all out. Right, Jake? Yeah. I'm talking to my future self. Water horse?
Wait, that's a Narnia movie? Hold up. You're telling me all this time, this movie that I have liked is just... Wait, no, that's a different one. I don't know. It is... I watched a movie a really long time ago.
As per usual, Chase doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Water Horse Legend of the Deep. Oh, okay. So not the Chronicles of Narnia version. Anyways, I saw a movie on it, and so ever since then, Nessie is like one of my favorite conspiracy theories. Yeah, there's merch. How can it not be real? People are selling stuff. If it wasn't real, they wouldn't make money.
That's illegal. You can't do that. I ruined your outro,
Yeah,
didn't I?
you did. I lost where I was. What was the last thing I said? Oh yeah, adventures through